Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased. Except ours. Of course, I am Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Daniel.
Yes. So, about a month ago, Craig and I talked about the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that movie is absolutely killing it at the box office. So, it'd be appropriate to continue that trend, sort of, and talk about another video game adaptation for a movie, and this was Detective Pikachu. It came out in 2019. And at the time of its release, it ended up becoming the second highest grossing video game movie of all time. And now, of course, Mario just blew this out of the water. It grossed more than double what this made. But at the time, this grossed $433 million worldwide, only seven less than Warcraft, which surprised me. I'm surprised that movie even made anything. Guess I'm just talking to myself, huh?
Well, I mean, I thought you're just doing the introduction, like going over stuff.
The movie got relatively positive reviews, as I'm looking at it right now. A 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 53 on Metacritic, a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, not too shabby. And before we go into what we liked and didn't like, I kind of like this movie. I don't love it. I found it to be annoying, and I'll talk about later why I found it annoying. And it might not be a reason you guys would think.
It's not Tim.
No, it's surprisingly not our friend Franklin from Jurassic World and Jurassic World 3.
I mean, I liked it too.
Well,
It wasn't like
it's
I
it's
loved.
definitely it's definitely not Ryan Reynolds for Colin. He absolutely loves him.
Well, Daniel knows already why I didn't like it too much.
Oh no.
But, Craig, what did you think? You said you liked it. What about you, Daniel?
I similar opinion. I enjoyed it. I was
And
surprised at not saying like I absolutely love this movie, but I was surprised because I didn't have high expectations. Not that I was expecting this to be bad, but I kind of went in with nothing. So I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right. Craig, would you want to explain, or maybe, Craig, how familiar are you with the source material
uh, not
of the
very
game?
well.
Not a Pokemon, but of the
No, I
game.
know what you mean. The game, I never played the game because it didn't look all that interesting. I mean, I know that, just quick Google search that it does borrow a lot from the game,
I
but the
hope.
big difference is the ending for the most part.
Yes. I guess should we explain that now or later, the ending and the differences?
Oh, it gets to the end.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to talk about what I didn't like. And I honestly didn't like Ryan Reynolds in this movie because it's just Ryan Reynolds voicing an anthropomorphic Pikachu. He's not a character, he's just himself. And it's especially weird when you see this Pikachu talking just like how he does. It's very weird. And I don't think he fit the role at all. Pikachu isn't supposed to be some wisecracking Ryan Reynolds guy.
But this Pikachu is though.
No, I know. I'm just saying the character of Detective Pikachu, it doesn't match with Ryan Reynolds. It's very weird. I couldn't stand him in this. I was like, he's so annoying because it's just Ryan Reynolds. He's the same guy in every movie.
I mean, it's probably why they hired him.
What?
Probably why
Yeah.
they hired him.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. It for me it was very weird. I did not like him in this movie at
Did
all.
did he have like serious input on like the dialogue for Pikachu?
He probably did.
I don't know if he had
Because some
I
of the
don't know if he had
line
input, but I think he probably just improv some stuff or
because there was a decent amount of lines that one, it just felt very much like Ryan Reynolds, but two, some of it was like I was kind of caught off guard that they threw in like some pretty there was some like adult humor thrown in for Pikachu with some of his lines, and I was like, all right, this feels very much like Ryan Reynolds just being quick witted and wisecracking. I was surprised that they put that in like a Pokemon movie. Like specifically the one line when they were at the cafe bar because Pikachu loves coffee. Um, he said the one line along the lines of like, how people like react to him. And he's like, most people just like, pick me up, squeeze me, and put their fingers in me. I was like, wait, what? Why is that? I was like, why would that be in this movie? But that
That's
felt
if you
very
want to
much like,
hire Ryan Reynolds.
but that's what it felt like. And to Colin's point, it just didn't. It threw me off. Um, the, like people were worried about Chris Pratt not hitting Mario. I was like, this was
This was
um,
worse. This was honestly worse.
yeah, yeah. But there was other lines like that. That was just the one I like had to pause the movie. I was like, wait, what? Why would they throw that line in this movie? What are they insinuating happened to Pikachu, man?
I feel like he's in the Pikachu that long in the movie too. He's a Pikachu what for like a week or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know everyone loves Ryan Reynolds, but he is the same guy in every movie. I don't even think he plays characters anymore. He just shows up. He's
We can
Van
blame
Wilder
Deadpool for
every
that.
movie. Okay.
We can blame Deadpool for that.
Well, yeah, but he was always the same before Deadpool too.
Well, I know, but like that's what I think when he got much more famous for playing himself, and everyone
I
wants.
actually think it was Green Lantern, to be honest with you.
Should dare besmirch the Green Lantern movie?
I would have preferred about anybody else play Pikachu but him. If I'm being honest, I could not stand him in this movie. It was like the Mint Mobile app you
Ouch.
see. And it was just a Mint Mobile app talking in the form of Pikachu. It was horrible.
We recast Pikachu, but we do Taika Waititi behind it.
Oh god, that might be worse.
He would just do the voice of Korg.
So I guess let's talk about how you translate a cartoon character designs into a live action design. Like, for example, some of the Pokemon in this movie looked very odd. I know Craig loves the new Jigglypuff design.
Yeah, that's well. I think they actually hired some guy off the internet to help with these designs. I don't know how true that is, but I saw when the movie came out, I remember seeing articles about that. And journalists always tell the truth, so I could be
Of
true.
course.
But yeah, this is like some Pokemon obviously look better than others. Like I think the more realistic-ish looking ones tend to look better. Like Pikachu's based on a mouse, very easy to translate.
I thought Bulbasaur looked pretty good.
Yeah, Bulbasaur, I think Torterra looked good because pretty simple, like a dinosaur with a tree on its back. Like
Yeah,
Charizard
yeah,
some of
looked
them.
terrible.
Charizard Apom, I looked so gross. This is the problem, like, they don't have realistic proportions. So, like, again, like we said, how do you translate that properly? Like, they give him, like, real human
You don't.
teeth, like, with the odd-shaped head and stuff, it looked off. Or was it
Yeah,
Jigglypuff? It's supposed to be based off a balloon, right? But they give it fur, big teeth, too. It's like, oh my God. Just very unsettling. Like,
It
they
should have
should have,
been a CGI movie. Should have been computer generated. It
well,
should
at
not.
that point, like, what's the difference between that and the game, though?
Well, you don't have to do live action everything. It's okay if it was completely CGI with the game. You could still make your differences. But then, like, you wouldn't have these Pokemon looking terrible. I believe Gengar looked horrible.
Oh, yeah, that was another one, too, because I remember
yeah. His was off.
Let's see. Oh my god, yeah, he looks terrible. He has human teeth. Scary. The stuff of nightmares.
What'd you think of Machamp
Well,
directing Traffic?
he was
He looked
barely in it, but
good.
he was looked cool.
He looked good. I think, yeah, Snorlax, he looked good again. He's a
Lickitung looked
sleeping bear.
terrifying.
Yeah, that the Snorlax sleeping and causing a traffic jam that did get me a chuckle.
Yeah, I think most of them were fine, but like the ones that missed by like a mile.
Yeah,
Because again, you
especially.
only really like notice the ones that like really like, oh my God, what is that thing?
Yeah, Charizard. They gave Charizard more than four teeth. Just kind of like his thing. He has like four little pecks of teeth.
But the thing too, like with Charizard, I know he's technically based. off a salamander or a lizard, but he's clearly a dragon. Like I think they should have gone for more dragon look than the lizard look they went for him.
Yeah, he looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
Mr. Mime, they didn't change at all.
They gave him like dodgeball shoulders.
Again, because like, what do you do? Like, it's obviously not meant. The people they design it, they're just designing it for a video game, not really thinking how would this work in real life.
So I heard you guys heard my complaints. What did you guys not like, and what did you guys like about the movie?
Well, I think my biggest point, you hated Pikachu, but I did not like Tim at all.
I don't think that guy is good in anything he does.
I mean, because they make him play like, maybe it was just his acting, but he's so whiny and so annoying. I,
Yeah.
I can't stand like when people are just like that whiny as a protagonist. Like you can't root for them. You want them to go fall in a manhole, like in a manhole and just die.
Oh my God.
Like the opening scene where they're trying to like establish who doesn't like Pokemon, he's just like whining the entire time, him and Dopinder. It's like, oh my God.
Dopinder, I forgot he was in this. Yeah, that was my main complaint, and the him and the reporter girl, the intern. That I didn't like either one of them.
I mean, she's only bothered by the facts, like she wasn't like him, like whining and moping.
Well, she felt like she was straight out of like a Nickelodeon or Disney show with some of her acting and lines. Like when she first like when they first meet in the at his dad's apartment, and he's like going through the mail, and then she's like standing on like the stairs or something like that, and it's like you just see her silhouette, and then she starts like talking, and it was like the over the top journalist slash investigative reporter like stereotype in movies, like, oh, this is a big story, and like no one like, and I was like, oh my god, are we really doing this?
I'm very
Like, it
glad
seems like
Marvel saw this and said, yes, let's have her be Ant-Man's daughter. I'm really glad they did that.
It's funny too because imagine she says, "Oh, this is a big story." Imagine how many times she said that to her boss and like it turned out to be nothing. He's like, "That's why I don't want to listen to you." Like, oh yeah, sure, big story. Yeah, it turned out to be nothing.
yeah, she was. They really went hard on that investigative journalist stereotype, and I couldn't stand it. And then you team her up with Franklin, and ugh, what a match made in heaven.
I mean, I
But
never think
those
which.
were, yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, oh no, I was gonna say that was my main issue was the two main characters. But okay, what were we gonna say?
I mean, not that this is like as bigger of an annoyance, but like it's supposed to be like a mystery movie, but I don't really feel like it was that great of a mystery movie. Like nothing really like there's really no like twists, nothing really led you on. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I remember Ryan Reynolds was saying like, "Ooh, this is twisty. This is twisty." It's like, well, not really.
Like
Uh,
Pikachu gets amnesia. Like I think what the twist was Pikachu thought he like Pikachu wasn't like gonna betray anybody. He's like, oh, I betrayed my former master. Like, Pikachu, he's too popular. You can't have Pikachu be the bad guy. Like it's never gonna happen.
That was yeah that part like that was so stupid. Because then Pikachu's like going on this monologue as if he's like had this lifelong problem of betraying people, and it's like you might have messed up one time and you can't even remember if you did. And it's the next scene. Oh, I gotta get back to him.
Yeah, Isabel like
It's
goes
just,
like, I don't know how he got back to the city, but whatever.
it doesn't matter.
uh, yeah.
This does. It matters tremendously.
What did you guys like about the movie? Because I'm getting the impression you guys didn't like it, even though you said you did.
I mean, well, like I said, like the story wasn't anything great, but it wasn't like bad either. It wasn't, bored to tears. I did like when Tim like fell down and almost got hurt.
Okay. Sicko.
Oh yeah, it's like people got like stop whining and just gonna smack him like,
What about you, Daniel? What did you like?
I mean, I thought they, for the most part, did a good job of integrating the idea of like real world with like Pokemon. I know you said it should have just been the full CGI movie, but I think for the most part, they did a good job blending that. I thought it was like interesting to see it, like, especially like the one part I really did like was when he first gets to Rhyme City, and it's just they're just doing various shots of throughout the city, and you're seeing how the Pokemon are interacting with people. There's like little clever things like they're using um what's Arcanine's first evolution?
Growlithe.
They're using Growlithe as like bomb sniffing dogs. You have like Machamp directing traffic. Snorlax is just sleeping, causing a traffic jam. Um, they showed like the was it Bravery? Um, bringing like lunch to that one crane operator guy. Um, like so, I did like that, like how they integrated it. It was cool. It was nice seeing like most of my like favorite Pokemons. They did like a good job with it. But yeah, that was so it was like enjoyable watching that, and I think for the most part they
So
did a
you
decent
enjoyed
job.
like 5% of the movie. It sounds like.
Yes.
Oh man. Because the
What
more
was
I'm
it called
talking
too?
about
Like,
it, the more and more I'm not liking this movie. I feel like I feel like it, this should have been probably easier to adapt into a movie based off its source material than most stuff. Like, what do you do for a Mario movie? They had a tougher task, but it just seems like with this, they messed up more than they should have.
oh, 100%.
They completely botched everything, and that's not
The
even
fact that
take.
made it live action was
Well, yeah. Besides that,
very
but that's
not
not even to
against
take
that.
into account like the casting and just Ryan Reynolds, who was insufferable in this. It's just I don't know how you could screw it up this badly like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was also a bit tiresome of like, oh, not ti I don't know if tiresome's the right word, but it was just like, oh, it's Mewtwo again.
Well, that's for the
I
Gen
don't know.
1ers. It's funny because they said Mewtwo's the most powerful Pokemon in the world, but they literally have statues of Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus in
Yeah,
the in the bad guys like room.
and Pikachu even says at one point, it's like, "Oh, sweet mother of Arceus." So it was like, so they are canon for this movie, like we're acknowledging they exist.
Well, that's the deal. Like I know you were saying like how Rhyme City showed the Pokemon coexisting. Not that this really matters, but like most games, like the Pokemon are in cities too. Like you see them walking around with their people. It's not like they're forced to be in their Pokeballs.
Yeah.
It's not not really unique to that one city, but whatever.
And it'd been funny if there's like gangs of Pokemon beating up people in alleyways.
Like you see when you go into an alley when you see a Machamp waiting for you.
Yeah, you see one like in a trench coat just holding up somebody with two of its arms and pointing at you.
You just
I'll get to
you
you
just see a
later.
bunch you just see a bunch of Machops pickpocketing people and running from the cops.
You just see them flipping over like smart cars.
Yeah, like say they run into like a crowd of other Machops. Like how would you know which one stole? They all look alike.
And then
Like
if
how
you
like
arrest all of them, oh boy, get ready for the headlines in the papers.
There's a crime family of Machamps.
See, I
The
feel
head
like
one's
this
called
movie
Don Champ.
they played it very, 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 very safe.
but
And
not even that
normally,
safe because they changed the story. I mean, I can't tell you what they changed in the game, but I know they changed stuff in the game.
well, I mean, like it feels very by the numbers, the whole story and whatnot. Like it feels very bare bones. And normally for a video game adaptation, that's just enough to that's okay. But it just feels like they had a lot more interesting stuff to work with, and they didn't know what to do. And they're like, all right, let's be basic, and this is what we got.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I don't think this was like the
Yeah,
best thing to adapt. I mean, I know they probably picked it because it was easier. Like, there's definitely more of a story there, but I think most people would have preferred to see like I don't know, maybe a good one
trying to
adaptation.
become, yeah, like, someone you just have Tim, not the actor, but that you could take that character and you make it like he goes to Rhyme City, or he goes to another one, and he's going to become a Pokemon master, and you pick a random Pokemon, it doesn't have to be Pikachu,
It would probably have to be Pikachu.
and
Let's be honest.
well, or he could face some of the gym challengers have Pikachu, they have Charizard, you give him like a different one,
No, it'd have to be Pikachu
and
because he's the most popular. There's no way
I'm
around
sa-
that.
if you don't I'm saying if you don't want to be safe, if you actually want to, put together, a clever movie, you could have him pick another Pokemon. You have Pikachu in it, you have Charizard. You could hit all those Pokemons. But I think they could have just easily done the generic story of a guy of a you could have had Hop,
No, I don't
try to
want him.
become a gym a Pokemon master. I think that would have been fine. And then you could have still done you shown the city of the integration of people and Pokemon, and you just have this journey for this character. I think that would have been probably much better than um, what this was.
Because again, I do feel like part of the not that's always the movie's fault, but like what Dale's going to like what they pick to adapt is definitely not the best or what people would be expecting. Like if you do a live action Pokemon, you want to see like actual Pokemon battles. You want to see like actual
Yeah,
traditional
yeah. You don't
Pokemon
want to
games,
see
not
a
some
Yeah,
mystery or a detective
uh,
movie.
yeah, some
yeah.
generic detective movie with your favorite animals
And the
or
only Pokemon
creatures.
battle you kind of get, it's Pikachu versus Mewtwo at the end, or the one where it's him versus Charizard. He doesn't even he forgets how to use his powers, and just him dodging Charizard.
Yeah, for like what 30 seconds. Even though like
Yeah,
again the Mewtwo fight, like he couldn't even use Mewtwo's powers correctly and like couldn't even fight each other properly. Not that it mattered, but it just
but yeah,
again I
that's
don't think what people were expecting or wanted.
but if you're gonna do a live action Pokemon, and you're gonna have the gym battles, you could have done like three fights, and then like spaced out throughout the course of the movie. You have and then the big, you have the finale fight, versus the gym leader, and I think that would have been much better because that's essentially what it is. It's
I disagree. I feel like if it was like that, where you do a bunch of gym battles in a movie, it'd be very boring and a very tedious movie. I think what they adapted was a good choice because, like we said, there's some semblance of story already there for them to adapt. It's just that they got the hackiest and the worst people to adapt it. And I'm sure Ryan Reynolds had his hand in there somewhere, up inside of Pikachu, like he said. I don't know. And it's just so, like I said, by the numbers. It's so bare bones. It's about as safe as you can get in a way, which is weird because, like we were saying, for some video game movie adaptations, all it needs to be is safe. But here, it works against it. I think it just feels so basic, and and it's annoying.
Because again, I feel like if there weren't any Pokemon in this movie, this would probably have been a bomb and like no one would have ever seen it or cared about it.
Wait, you want to? I was just looking at the wiki. You want to know the other actors they considered for Pikachu?
Who I know people wanted Danny DeVito.
That was never
He
gonna
was
happen.
one.
Well, I know.
The Rock was another one.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God.
Mark Wahlberg was another one,
Oh god.
and Hugh Jackman.
See,
Who?
they're
What?
whoever was
What is
behind
this
this movie,
choice?
the
Well, they're picking
producers,
big names, you
yeah,
know.
they're just the worst. They are the worst kind of people.
Like
Why would you
Danny
think
DeVito's
The
never
Rock
gonna
would be
get
a
the
good
job.
choice? Like, what is wrong with you? What makes you think that?
I
You a
can't.
Pell
I
hater?
can't.
I am a
I
yeah, I
can't.
am.
I can't picture any of those guys doing that
Well, I know
that role.
Danny DeVito. People wanted him to be Detective Pikachu because I think he was more gruff in the video game adaptation, at least in the American
No, they
version
wanted
of
it
it.
because they thought it'd be funny.
Really? I thought because Pikachu had like a mustache or something, or is that?
No, he'd have a mustache.
Oh, am I going crazy?
A little bit.
Okay, could have sworn he sounded gruff in the game.
I mean, I don't know what he sounded like. I just know that people wanted Danny DeVito because they thought it'd be funny. Like, I'm the trash Pikachu. That's
Yeah,
what people wanted.
honestly, it would have been better
He'd
than
literally be frank.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know about that.
Because at least we would have gotten Danny DeVito trying to be like a Detective Pikachu, not Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds. That's just me. That's just me.
If The Rock was it, Pikachu, Pikachu would have been a single father.
The daughter. And he was Samoan Pikachu somehow.
Oh my god, no, it should have been The Rock because he's a single dad at the end of it. The mom died, and he's estranged
So
from his
let's
son.
talk
Oh
about
my,
the ending because Daniel's going to be going on about The Rock. Craig, you didn't like the ending, or you said it was different than the video game. How about you explain what you meant by that?
Well, I didn't say I didn't like it. I said it's different from the video game.
Well, explain.
And the video game ends, I guess they don't find out who Tim's father is. I don't know much about the ending, but all I see is they never found out who the father is, and that was like the sequel for the next Detective Pikachu that will probably never come out.
Ah,
Yes, and this one they tell you who his father is. And they said they're planning on a sequel. I mean, it'll probably get kickstarted after the strike, obviously, because of how well the Mario movie did.
what are they going
But
to do for the
I,
sequel, though?
I have no idea then, because the whole point of the sequel in the game is to find out, to finally find Tim's father. But for the movie, it's I guess they'll just do whatever they want.
But Tim's father is Ryan Reynolds. It's so weird. I don't
I
know.
mean,
How is he going to become a Detective Pikachu again?
that is a good question.
That is like the only question. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing too with this. Like, with these kinds of movies, you're obviously trying to set up like tons and tons of sequels, and you really can't do a sequel with this. Like, when's Tim's father? Like, there's no more Detective Pikachu.
a sequel is happening.
yeah, I know. I saw that.
I mean, they could say that, but like they say that for everything.
Yeah, there's no way that would make sense that he becomes Detective Pikachu again because the crime was solved. Like, he's not Pikachu anymore. Like,
I wonder if that's why they made the change. Like, they wanted to solve everything. They didn't want sequel bait, but then they realized, wait a minute, this did well enough. Mario movie's doing well. We could do a sequel. But they kind
well,
of shot
at the
themselves in the
time, they
foot.
probably weren't expecting it to do as well as it did. Even though it's a
Oh yeah.
Pokemon movie, I've seen the Rotten Tomatoes on some of the Pokemon movies. They're not well received, so they're probably thinking like, "Oh, this movie costs a lot of money. How much did it cost? It cost
Something like
150
50.
million dollars to make, and they probably thought it would gross 100 million. So they weren't expecting a sequel. I'm assuming, and now it's like, oh, what do we do?
No, I agree. Again, it's part of the. Which I mean, I think it was the wiser thing to do, try to make a good movie first, then set up for sequels. But this really isn't
This is
what you
not the
want
movie to
for
do
your.
that with, honestly. Even though I
Yeah,
do appreciate that, like, oh, everything is solved, everything kind of makes sense.
it's not a
The only
complaint. It's more from like the
No, I
the
would be
you know
perfectly
the
fine if there wasn't a
business.
sequel. It's better that the movie has a definitive ending than. Could you imagine if
Mhm.
someone else did this movie and it'd be like they're about to solve who Tim's father is, and then it cuts to black, and then it says Detective Pikachu will return.
Like they're talking about the Smash Bros. Initiative.
Oh God.
It's gonna be Detective Pikachu. He'll get promoted. He'll become Commissioner Pikachu, and he'll have his own agency.
Stop.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah, instead of Detective Pikachu 2, it's like Commissioner Pikachu. Ugh.
Lieutenant Pikachu.
he becomes like a disgruntled cop. He's like one of those like stereotypes where he's like his tie is always undone. He's just smoking a cigarette as a 5 o'clock shadow, just constantly stressed about cracking his case.
Well, it's probably what the inspiration they were going for, right? That's why he drinks coffee instead of smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that'd be really
The
weird if
mayor,
Pikachu just smoked cigarettes.
the mayor's gonna have my ass on this one.
Oh, oh man, the mayo. Oh.
So I think,
They changed his voice acting to Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon.
You guys
I
are
don't
ahead of
really
their
have
time.
much more else to say about this movie. I didn't really
I guess
like it.
I guess we didn't enjoy it as much as we thought.
Well, to me, it was like a solid like 5 out of 10, like just perfectly middle of the road. Okay,
Yeah, I would
not the
agree.
worst thing you've ever seen, but definitely could improve a lot.
It's no Rampage.
Like I said, probably would have been maybe a little lower if there were any Pokemon in it, but like it's inoffensive at best.
And I really hope they don't make a sequel because it'd not make any sense at all.
Like except the Smash Bros. Universe.
Would you stop at that?
Well, I want to bring that up because people like people ever when this movie came out, people were talking about the Smash Bros. Movies. Like, are people stupid? Like,
Yes.
well, not only for it being a bad idea, but like, how is a live action character gonna fit in with like the Mario movie?
Correct, because it'll be a
Small sequel.
multiverse. The multiverse is here.
Oh, just shoot me.
They're gonna have Ant-Man in it
Why Hitman?
because the
Why, man?
quantum realm and all that stuff. Craig, he can do it.
Oh, well, wouldn't Doctor Strange make more sense?
No.
They'll have them all in it.
The Detective Pikachu will be the Nick Fury of the Smash Bros. Universe.
Oh God, that'd be horrible.
He's gonna recruit Sonic and Mario.
Wanda
Oh,
goes insane again, and she
Mario
imagined
vs.
having
Sonic, Dawn of
Pokemon's.
Justice.
You stop.
No, these are wonderful ideas that people definitely
No,
want.
they're not. No, they're not.
Fun.
No, because it'll be terrible.
Well, I'm saying we're just talking. I'm just making some jokes here. You're trying to shut down the jokes.
Because Craig, there are people out there who probably think like this actually, and it's disheartening hearing it coming out of your mouth.
I'm saying it's a joke. Other people could think that and they're stupid, but I'm just having a laugh here.
So I wonder if they're gonna try to adapt any other Pokemon property for movies. I have a feeling maybe down the road, the Mario movie being successful will probably be one of the worst things that can happen.
Oh,
Because
100%.
everyone's gonna try to adapt any video game they can get their hands on, and
I
it'll
mean, it's
be
kind of happening already before the Mario movie. Mario movie just actually happened to be successful.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be really bad for the industry. I think it won't be quite like how the Force Awakened and Jurassic World ruined everything with nostalgia, but I think it'll be pretty detrimental.
Well, because there were already adaptations. Like, I remember there was like the Assassin's Creed one no one saw. There was a Tomb Raider one, the Uncharted one. Like, there are other adaptations, but like they don't tend to do well. Like, it's really more like a recent
Did
thing.
we talk about Uncharted? I don't remember.
We never saw it.
I
Or I
saw
never
it.
saw it.
Oh, okay, maybe we didn't.
No, we never talked about it.
Oh, there's an idea right there. I guess you guys don't want to watch that.
We could. I don't watch Uncharted.
I mean, I don't really have interest to see that movie.
Yeah.
Is it painful?
Well, yeah. I'll say if we ever do an episode, I'll save my thoughts. I'll save my thoughts.
'Cause I just think the Mario movies be one that opens up the floodgates for more people like throwing, video game adaptations at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I agree. We already have two Sonic movies.
Are they ever gonna do like a live action Pokemon show?
No, that'd be too
Hope not.
expensive and too terrible.
Well, I think too, like if people talk about like not to harp on the like the Smash Bros. Universe, like Nintendo doesn't fully own Pokemon. Like they only own a third of it. I don't know if people are aware of that. I mean, not
Yeah,
that
it's Creatures and the Pokemon Company.
I thought it was Game Freak,
That's
Game
what I
Freak,
meant. Game
Nintendo,
Freak.
and Creatures.
Whatever. Same
I
thing.
mean, not that they couldn't do it, but just they can't force them. Is what I'm saying.
Well, let's hope that day never happens. So there's a bunch of Nintendo movies and people want a Smash Brothers universe. That'd be pretty bad.
But speaking of crossovers, did you catch that cameo from Red?
No, I don't remember, honestly.
I mean, it was when I think they're showing establishing shots of the city. Uh, they had one guy. He didn't really look like Red. He just had Red's hat, and it was confirmed to be Red. But yeah, it's a cameo from Red.
Wow.
More you know.
The more you know, I guess. You guys have any final thoughts? Yes? No?
I'm good.
Maybe so?
I'm good.
Would you recommend this movie? Craig?
It's hard to say because I can't see myself recommending it, but it's not like the worst thing either. Like I said, it's a solid it's like a perfect 5 out of 10,
What about you,
right
Daniel?
in the middle.
If you want to see Pokemon, I'd recommend it.
Is that it? I would not
Yeah.
recommend this movie. Even for the Pokemon aspect, I still would not. I can't bring myself to recommend this. Should have been better
All right.
than what we got, unfortunately. It's one of those cases.
Maybe just watch the film on mute and you'll enjoy it more.
Yes, I agree. Well, we have been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours, and we will see you next time.